No one said a relationship is meant to last forever. There's a purpose, there is a lesson, and there's a reason for everything that happens in your life.
Welcome back to another episode on Find Joy with Joyan, the podcast that is all about helping you live and lead a life with joy. I'm your host, Joyan Chan, and every Wednesday we are giving you access to the world's best and brightest minds in their fields on our show. Listen in as these leaders impart their wisdom, inspiration, and stories to empower you to live joyfully with intention, passion, and purpose, and celebrate the struggles and overcome the challenges we may face each day with the tools and insights that we are going to share with you. Whether you are looking to improve your relationship, find your passion, learn how to embrace the present moment, deepen your spiritual connection, or learn the magic of manifestation and law of attraction to attract more abundance, this podcast is here to guide you every step of the way. As your host, I am also challenging myself to dig deeper to learn and unlearn and ride along with you. We are not here to tell you how to live your life because it is your life. But this life is all that we have right now. So my friend, why not live our life to the fullest? So I hope these conversations and stories will guide and inspire you to live your life to your highest potential and a life that you are proud of as you continue to grow and evolve in your own journey. So if you are ready to start living a more passionate, purposeful, and joyful life, join us every Wednesday on Find Joy with Joyan for inspirational stories, powerful message, fun conversations, and empowering thoughts with me and my special guests and friends. And now, without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. She has been a psychic since a child. However, she didn't realize she was also a medium until later in life. Some of her gifts have been passed on since her mother was also a medium. She also passed to the other side herself when she was 27 years old and came back to this side by choice. She can offer first-hand experience that life after life does exist. She has a 100% success rate in bringing through souls from the other side to give closure and help loved ones heal on both sides. Her soul group readings can also help give insight as to what is going on in your life and help to see what the universe has in store for you. Her special gifts include working directly with the angels, guides, and departed souls. Combined, these two have made her a very strong and accurate psychic and trance medium, able to bring through validating details to prove the connection and messages from the other side. She's here today to empower you to embrace this life and be thankful for all the gifts that you receive in your life every single day. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcoming the relationship expert and medium, June Edward.
Hi.
June, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for sending me the book. All is fair in love and karma. And like I mentioned to you earlier, I finished reading it over the weekend and I love it. I learned so much and I have so many questions. So
Everybody has a lot of questions after they read the book.
yeah. Okay, so what is the number one question that you always receive after,
The number one question. There isn't one single question. The book hits everyone very differently because everyone's journey is a little bit different. We all need to learn the same 5 lessons. That's what our soul is here for. But some people have learned some of the lessons and not all of the lessons, but all of the lessons circle back and keep reinforcing each other in your life. So people will acknowledge to me that, oh, now I understand why I was in this relationship, or now I understand why my relationship with my parents or my children is like this. They understand that it's not just them learning the lesson, but them also teaching someone a lesson as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting because as much as we may learn the lessons, we're in a 3D body here having a human experience. Right. We always have to, we're reminded of that constantly. Okay. But we really have to remember that we are not this body. This body is just a suit we wear. We are the soul that's inside. And the soul is what needs to grow. The soul is what needs to learn. And the soul is what people need to get in touch with in order to make the right decisions in their life and to raise their vibration and to be able to look at their own life from a higher perspective.
Mm. And I know you have so many special gifts, and since you were a child, so why do you want to talk about? Why do you want to write a book about love? And of all the aspects of life, why are you so passionate about relationship?
So everything is a relationship, right? You're in a relationship with your dog, you're in a
Mhm.
relationship with your mailman, you're in a relationship with your boss, your husband, your wife. You have sexual relationships, non-sexual relationships. This is what we're all about. We're all about relationships. We're here to help each other. No man is an island. No one ever got where they are by themselves. Yet we unlearn everything that we knew on the other side when we come here. We unlearn everything. As a babies are still very connected to the other side. And since I have my gift, it's wonderful. I've been able to, talk to my grandchildren when they're still weeks or months old and ask
Uh-huh.
them, why'd you choose my son for your
Wow.
dad? What are you going to do when you get bigger? And they can tell me why they came. And it's just amazing. And I always let my children know. And of course, they think I'm crazy. Yeah, wait till they grow up. You'll see.
Wow.
But, because we're here, we come back and reincarnate for a lot of reasons. Okay. We come back to help each other. We come to learn because we learn faster on this side than we do on the other side. And we also come back for vacation because when you're on the other side, you don't have a body. You can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, you live vicariously through people here, but without a body, you can't smell, you can't taste, you can't really touch and feel, you can't have sex. You can't have that kind of fun.
Yeah.
And people get bogged down in the 3D drama and forget the reasons that they're really here. I mean, think of a child, right? A child is full of wonder. Every day, they're full of wonder. They look at the clouds and they make animals out of the clouds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they trust everybody and they know that their needs are going to be taken care of for them. They know that they're going to get fed and changed and, tucked into bed at night. They know that. And that changes when something doesn't happen for them. A parent dies and suddenly they're not getting fed, they're not getting changed, their needs aren't being met. Things start to change and they start to really get into the 3D drama of being inside this, of being in a body, okay, and living this life that we're here for. And everyone planned their life before they came here. It's just like making, a Monopoly game. We chose. So
Mhm.
nothing's random. Everything that happens in your life, it happens for a reason.
Yeah, that part really like caught my attention. I would say the most because I am someone who is always, like trying to find my purpose in life, like trying to find out why am I really here. So you said in the book that we created, yeah, and you just said that we created our life path before we come into this life. So is there a way that we can know about the path or find out what we have pre-created or designed for ourselves? Like, or how do we know that we are on the right path? So that because so many people are feeling lost or they don't have a purpose, how do we find out the path?
So there's a couple of ways. First of all, you have to get in touch with your soul.
Hmm.
Okay.
Which is hard.
Um, yeah. Well, no, it's not that hard. If you stop with the 3D, it's not that hard. We all
Mm.
have a brain in our head, right? Most of us. So your brain has a purpose. It helps you process all the information that you have and put things in play. But your brain's primary purpose is to protect you.
Yeah.
How does it do that? It does it by creating fear. So people make all their decisions based on fear. Well, when you're making your decision based on fear from your head, it's literally a crapshoot. Sometimes it works out okay, sometimes it doesn't, but you're always questioning whether or not you made the right decision.
Yeah.
Okay? When you make your decision from your soul, it's a knowing. You know it's the right thing. You don't question it. You just do it. And it works out the way it's supposed to 100% of the time. And even though you may look back, say you fell in love with someone and you knew this was the person I was supposed to marry, and you married them and you had a couple of children, but you got divorced 10 years later. So now you're thinking, oh, I must have been the wrong decision. It's the right decision. You couldn't have had those children with anybody else. No one said a relationship is meant to last forever. There's a purpose, there is a lesson, and there's a reason for everything that happens in your life. So when you meditate and you raise your vibration, you're getting in touch with your soul. So when people pray, they're asking, whether they're asking the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, you're asking. And when you're meditating, you're getting your answers. You're listening and you're getting those answers, and they will give them to you. And the universe will absolutely give you everything that you ask for. It just may not be in the time frame that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in the time frame that it's supposed to come. And it's the same thing with being on your life path. I haven't done this my whole life. I was scared to death of my abilities as a child. I blocked it for most of my life. I've been in business my whole life. I had large corporate businesses, employed a couple hundred of people, and was not doing this, was following my soul to best I could. But when I lost touch with that and went to have some Reiki done and was recommended that I started to meditate, I'm like, I can't meditate. My brain doesn't shut off. I'm running 5 businesses right now. And as soon as I started to meditate, that door opened up all the way, and all of my abilities came back 1,000 times stronger than they were when I was a child. So my life path is doing what I'm doing now, but I had to do the other steps first to bring me where I am. Okay. I've had a very difficult life. And if I hadn't gone through all those challenges, I wouldn't be able to connect with and help the people that I help. You have to be able to relate to them. You have to be able to walk a mile in their shoes. So there's really not much anybody's ever gone through that I haven't gone through myself. So I can relate to how they're feeling and what they're going through. And the universe always wants you to have choices, okay? Because you really don't have a lot of control of your life. The universe wants you to think you do. So they'll give you an opportunity. Say it's like a game. You'll be in front of door 1, 2, and 3. You take door 1, you go through it, you get married, you have a couple of children, you get divorced. You come back in front of door 1, 2, and 3 again. If you haven't learned your lesson, you're going to take door 1 again. You're going to get married, you're going to have a couple of kids, you're going to get divorced again. You're going to be in front of door 1, 2, and 3 again. If you've learned the lesson you were supposed to be learning, maybe it was communication and trust, maybe it was self-worth. If you've learned that lesson, you're not going to take door 1 anymore. You're going to take door 2 or door 3. And you may still get married and have children, but now you're not going to get divorced because you've learned that lesson you were supposed to learn. So believe it or not, everyone is always on their path. You are on the path that you chose. You're on the plan that you made before you came here. And when the time is right, if you're listening to your soul and you're following your intuition, your knowing, that gut feeling, if you're following that, when the time comes for you to open up and do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing to give back and help others, it will happen.
Okay, how do we know that we have truly learned the lessons that we needed to learn, that we come here to learn?
There's 5 lessons.
Yeah.
So when you know what the lessons are, you'll know that you don't learn them. So for instance, money and balance is one of the lessons. And money is energy, and that's why it's called currency. And it's what we use in this world to show whether or not we're in balance. Everything in the universe has to stay in balance. You have the yin and the yang, you have the dark and the light, the day and the night, the left and the right. Everything has to stay in balance. When you go to the store, if you're buying $100 worth of groceries, you give them $100. You don't give them $100,000, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be in balance. So now let's say we get a full moon.
Yeah.
And people are off the wall, right? Their emotions are high. They're way up here. They're not balanced, are they? No. When you're balanced, your energy is balanced. The highs aren't so high. The lows aren't so low. And you can look at everything and enjoy everything. You're grateful for everything. That's the difference.
Okay.
When you've learned when you've learned self-worth, the other lesson, it's not about value. It's not what other people think of you. It's knowing that you're the only one in this world. Aren't you that special that God created only one of you and needed you here? How amazing is that, right? That's your self-worth. You are worth more than anyone could put a label on or a value to. Okay? When you understand that and you put yourself first, when you put yourself first, you'll know you're putting yourself first. It's not narcissistic. It's not selfish. It's where everything comes from. If you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be here to take care of anyone else, are you?
Mm-hmm.
You'll be 6 feet under and you're not no help to anybody at that point. So when you learn the lessons, you know you've learned them.
Yeah, self-worth is one of the topics that I want to talk to you about, because it's the first lesson in the book, right? It's all about self-worth. And um it's something that a lot of people are struggling with. What are some of the ways that, other than putting yourself first, maybe you can give us an example of what does it mean to put ourselves first, or what are some of the other ways that we can increase our self-worth?
Well, again, how every lesson
Okay.
leads into the next, like people that work too much. If you work too much, you're out of balance, right?
Mm.
And then a lot of people that work too much and just keep saving all their money, and we can't afford a vacation, we can't afford a nicer car, we can't afford, because they don't have enough self-worth to even spend the fruits of their labor on themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're working hard, you're earning money, treat yourself. You are worthy, you deserve it.
How about for
You don't feel
someone, okay,
guilty.
sorry to interrupt, but how about for someone who is a provider of the family? He or she has to earn money to work hard to provide for the family, so he or she cannot put herself or himself first.
So you can still put yourself first, even though you're working hard to earn money for a family.
Okay.
You set boundaries. So what, if you're going to work extra hours, what is it for? Is it for a vacation for your family so that you can spend it all together?
Mm.
Or is it just to go buy a bigger house to live in so there's more room? The time together, I think, would be a much more valuable enjoyment for all of you, and it's something that you would want to do, and it's a memory that will last forever.
Mm. Yeah.
It's those types of things. And just because you're working hard doesn't mean you can't go for lunch and have a pedicure for yourself, even if you're a guy. Have your feet treated, have a nice foot massage, right?
Yeah.
Or have a full body massage on your lunch. You can work it in, you can fit it in.
Mm.
Nobody says you're not supposed to be the martyr. Just because you're the person that's earning, the most of the money, or maybe your wife stays home and watches the kids, or you're the only one that's working, doesn't mean you don't take care of yourself. You don't become the martyr, throw yourself under a bus because, I'm the one that's got to work hard. No, if you're going to work hard, you better play hard.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. So in the book, I think it was I can't remember which chapter, but you talk about the three types of relationship. Um,
Correct.
of course, I want my listeners to go and buy the book, but can you talk to us about the three different types of relationships?
Sure. So the first one is called a twin flame. And there's a lot of buzz everywhere around the internet about twin flames, and there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
And I get my information from the other side. So I believe my information to be accurate. Okay.
Okay.
And I myself am a twin flame, and that's how I found out about them to begin with. And a twin flame is literally when one soul splits into two on the other side and reincarnates into two separate bodies. And there's lots of different reasons that your soul has decided to do this. Long story as to why mine did, but I did go back to find out why. And there are very few twin flames that are on the earth at one time. They are here not just to learn the 5 soul lessons that everyone has to learn, but they're here for a higher purpose. They're here to really elevate the vibration of the planet and to help humanity. They have a bigger job. Okay.
Okay.
And it's, the Notebook came out and everybody thought it was, that's a twin flame romantic movie. Twin flames are not romantic relationships by any stretch of the imagination. They are the hardest thing you've ever have to go through in your life. It's most twin flames, they'll meet at some point in their life when it's time for their life to change. They'll only last anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of months. They're extremely sexual. They're extremely magnetic. They are the same soul. And they split. And when they split, it's a ghosting situation basically, and where you never hear one might chase, and one, you'll keep chasing one, and the other one you never hear from, and it puts both people's lives on a major change, major path difference. And this is why I do what I do. He was the reason that my abilities opened up again the way they did.
Wow.
And at some point in time, in this lifetime, provided you're both able to learn your 5 lessons and get on the path that you're on, helping humanity, you'll have an opportunity to reunite again. And if either one of you has not learned your lessons, you will not be able to reunite.
So, okay, when you say reunite, do you mean get together, or in a relationship?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So then there are soulmates.
Yeah.
Soulmates are what most people want. We have lots and lots of soulmates on this earth. And it's a soulmate because the other person feels really comfortable with you. There's an ease in the relationship. Some of them will go fairly quickly because you're so comfortable with it. They are there to teach you a lesson, or you to teach them, but they're also there to afford you some comfort while you're learning the lesson. Okay? And they can last a short time, or they can last a long time. It really depends on what you planned out for your life. Okay?
Mm.
And then there are karmic relationships. And soulmates, by the way, don't have to just be sexual relationships. Soulmates can be anybody. Your dog can be your soulmate. One of my sons is one of my soulmates. And I know this dog and my last dog were both my soulmates. And so yeah, you can have a best friend could be your soulmate.
So is it for everyone that we meet in our life, or whether it's a relationship or not, they are either one of these types of relationships?
Not necessarily. Like I said, twin flames are extremely rare. There's like
Okay.
144,000 on the earth at one time, couples.
Mhm.
Soulmates, everybody has thousands of soulmates they can run into and meet and be with. And then there's the karmic relationship. So karma is what you create in your life if you do something wrong to someone else. Okay? If I cheated on you in this relationship, I was not remorseful, and I did not make it up to you, I have now created karma with you that I owe you in the next lifetime. So in the next lifetime, we'll probably get together. Maybe we'll date. Maybe we'll get married. Who knows? But you'll probably cheat on me so that I know what it feels like. And you have now paid back the karma
Okay.
that I owed you. Okay? Now, karmic relationships get together specifically to learn or teach a lesson. And as soon as one or the other learns the lesson, the relationship ends almost immediately. It's like waking up one morning and saying, what am I even doing with you? Okay. Now, if both people learned their lesson, you can split up amicably. But if only one person learned their lesson, you will split up, but it will not be amicable. And I think pretty much everybody's had a couple of karmic relationships as well as soulmates.
So let's say in this case, one person learns the lesson and one person doesn't. How
You'll split
does
up.
it work? Because we're supposed to learn our lessons, right, in this lifetime. If that person don't learn the lesson in this lifetime, does it mean that he or she has to learn the lesson again in the next life?
True, but they'll probably just go on to the next person. Remember
Right.
going through door number 1 multiple times because
Yeah.
you didn't learn the lesson. You're going to keep repeating it. You'll keep picking someone that either looks like the same person or acts like the same person, and they're going to do the same thing to you. I
Yeah.
had a client who's she had been married 5 times, and believe it or not, every husband died on her. She was a widow 5 times. I'm like, are you a black widow? What's going on here, right? So we actually went back and read her Akashic records, which is her book of life.
Mhm.
And what we discovered was she had met another person that she really loved and wanted to marry him, but she was afraid to because she figured he's going to die on her too. So we went back and looked in her Akashic records, and every single one of the husbands that she married in this lifetime was a karmic relationship because she had been with them in past relationships and she didn't appreciate them and she wasn't nice to them. So they came back in this relationship and they died on her so she could experience the loss.
Okay.
And it dawned on her at that moment. She goes, wow, she goes, I wasn't nice to any of those husbands either, and every one of them died. I wasn't nice to any of them. She goes, and I missed them so much. And this one that I'm with now, I appreciate everything he does for me, and I tell him constantly. I said, well, there you go. You learned your lesson.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, are you the one who is going to tell us what happened in our lifetime, or because based on what you just said, it seems like she went back to the life, to the past life, and got all the information herself, or are you
So
the one who is telling her?
no, I'm the one that's telling her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the ability to go. So I don't know if it was in the book. I think it was that I died when I was 27, and I went to heaven, and I came back here by choice. But my soul has the ability, because my vibration is still so high from being there, to go back and forth to the lowest level of heaven at will. And that's where the Akashic records are kept. And everyone has a book of life. Everyone has an Akashic record. So there's lots of rules around reading them. I can't read your record without your permission, but I can go and read your records, and I can look at your past, and tell you how it connects to your present life.
Mm. Not many people believe in past lives or reincarnation or karma. Are they real, like really, really real?
You're real. You know, I'll tell you, nobody was a bigger skeptic than I was. I was born with the abilities that I have, but I was scared to death of them. And I was one of these people, if I couldn't see it, feel it, and touch it, it's not real.
Yeah.
Okay. And I died. I was there. I came back here by choice. I can't deny it.
Yeah.
And things that have happened in my life since, things that I see, things that have happened to me, the way the angels have helped me. And, I see dead people. It's real. I'm like, nobody's mind was blown more than mine. Trust me. Nobody. I'm a very analytical person, and I had to understand, how is this happening? Why is this happening? And yeah, I had to dig deep and figure out, I had to connect the science to this to understand, how is this all happening? Am I not nuts? No, I'm not. And it's crazy. But it's real. It's absolutely real. There's
Yeah.
no way in the world I could know some of the things that I know without them telling me.
And I always thought, people who are psychic or medium, they are very intuitive, they are very emotional, very in touch with themselves, with their body, instead of being analytical. So,
So it has nothing to
you
do with
know where I'm going with this, right?
So everyone has psychic ability. We're born with it. Okay. If you were born 1,000 years ago, you would have been trained to have mental telepathy to talk to your parents and your children. Um, it all comes through the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is in the center of your forehead. It's about the size of a walnut. It's hollow, and it's filled with a clear liquid. And it's depicted as the third eye everywhere. It's actually made up of the same cells as your eyeballs.
Mm,
Okay.
interesting.
And with fluoride, which is in your toothpaste and your water, it will calcify it, so you cannot get the messages. So what happens, it's like a reflecting pool. So a lot of times I'll see what I'm seeing because it's reflecting there. It's called the third eye. So the images are there, and that's what I'm seeing. Like if I'm doing, say I'm remote viewing your house, or
Yeah.
I'm tapping into someone remotely, it's the reflections are coming through there. That's the energy. So everyone has the ability. You obviously have to make sure that you don't have fluoride in your diet, or that you're clearing it out so that it works properly. And then it's a matter of connecting with your soul, because your soul is pure energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like making decisions from your brain, or having that knowing and connecting to your soul. Once you're connected to your soul, um, when you meditate properly and you're connected, you'll start seeing faces. If you want to see your great grandmother that passed away and she was your best friend and you ask for her, you'll see her face as you're meditating. You'll hear her voice. It's amazing. And I used to teach it, and everyone that's ever gone through my classes is able to do mediumship and has psychic ability. Now, everyone's levels are different. I tell people it's like playing a piano. Some people can only play chopsticks, okay? Other people can sit down and learn to play a couple of songs. Other people can really apply themselves and become a concert pianist, okay? And then I'm the child prodigy that sits down and plays Mozart. My abilities are beyond belief, even for me, and I attribute that to having died and my soul going into the light. Because quantum physics will tell you the speed of light, right? If my
Yeah.
soul went into that, now is that energy is traveling at the speed of light. And now, if it goes back into my body from the speed of light, that vibration is very high, and it stayed very high. And when I would do shows, a couple hundred people, I'm doing a show, and my body would heat up so much because the molecules are moving so fast. I'd feel like I was going to catch fire because it's the energy moving.
Funny story that I don't mind telling you. Yesterday night, because today now is morning for me. It's actually Tuesday morning for me. So I knew that I was going to do a podcast review. So I was like thinking, I don't know, all of a sudden before I go to sleep, before I turn off all the lights, I was feeling so scared. Like, because I read your book, I know your story, I know you can see people, like dead people, spirit angel. I was like thinking, oh my god, I'm going to talk to June. Am I going to start seeing things? And I was so scared. So my question is, when we are scared, will they come to us? Like, will they show themselves if we are scared?
So being able to trust, and that's one of the lessons, right? Communication and trust. You have to trust that there's a higher power. You have to trust that, you're protected. There is evil in this world.
Mm,
There's a huge war going on right now of good and evil. This is not a political war, it's good and evil. Okay. So even when you meditate, you need to protect yourself, because when you're opening yourself up to the universe, you're opening yourself up to good and evil. And if you don't, if you have a good heart, you're a target for evil. And I see a lot of people that have attachments or demonic possessions. And I've been attacked. Even though I've protected myself, I've worked on missing person cases, I've consulted with other paranormal groups and authors, and they can send me a picture and I'm reading the picture, and if there was a sorcerer that was in that house and I'm picking up on his demonic entity, he can attack me from the other side. He's
wow.
stronger there than he was when he was here.
Yeah.
Evil is real. I don't sleep in the dark. I have lights on in my house everywhere because I know what's in the dark.
Oh my god.
I absolutely know what's in the dark. And I'm not afraid,
Mm,
but I also don't want them around me. The light keeps them back.
okay.
But for instance, when my mom was dying in the hospital and I stayed with her at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I saw these I call them minions. They're demonic entities. They're about 3 feet tall and they run around the edge of the room and they're looking for a soul. And I called on Archangel Michael to clear them out of the room. Evil exists, and if you're paying attention, you'll start seeing it. You'll see it first out of the corners of your eyes because it moves quickly. Energy moves very quickly. This is why some people can see the orbs. I have lots of them on video camera because I've had many haunted places that I've owned. I had a haunted bar that one of the band members' son had died, and every time he played, you'd see his son, the orb, going back and forth by him while he's playing in the bar. But energy moves very quickly. So you'll start seeing, be like, did I see that? Did I see that?
Yeah. What is it like to live a life on both sides?
Um, Once you get comfortable with it, and once you decide what it is you're supposed to be working with, it's wonderful. I mean, everybody has a different calling. I don't choose to work with lower vibrational entities, which are ghosts that are stuck here, unless I have to.
Mm,
And I don't choose to work with evil or demonic entities, again, unless I have to. If I have to, I can do whatever I'm called upon to do. But that's not my calling. My calling is to try to help the people that are still here living in this 3D body in this world and are challenged by it and are stuck. So those are the ones that I really, that's where I try to help the most. That's my calling.
do we only have one single calling for coming into this lifetime, or do we have
can we have many different, again, purpose, or or it can be changed over time?
Well, it doesn't change all the time, again, because you chose this path, you chose this life, you planned it out. And sure, I mean, some people have chosen to have extremely difficult lives and change them all the time. Think about somebody that decides that they want to become a priest, and they go through the whole thing of being a priest, going to the monastery, the whole 99 yards, and then they either get into it or they decide right beforehand, nope, that's not for me. And then now they decide to go get married and have children. I know both sides of that. I know people that have done all of that. So their calling changed because it wasn't actually their life path. It was a foundation for them of what they're supposed to be doing somewhere down the road.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you are always on the path, right? You're always on the path, just
You're
that.
always on the path, yeah. But if every foundation is different. You have to get the foundation there before you can get on the path to do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing.
That is beautiful because I'm always puzzled because I what I'm doing today is very different from what I was doing 5 years ago. It's like totally different, different job, and even my parents. The reason why I'm so curious about finding my own life purpose is because my family, they are every time they tell me you are not doing what you just spend so much time, money studying, getting a certificate, and you're not doing what you were supposed to be doing. And I was like,
Who are they to tell you that?
yeah,
Who are they to say?
yeah.
So, and the thing is, parents want the best for their children, and they want them to have a better life than they had, and they want them to have it a little bit easier.
Mm.
So, I have three boys. They're all very different. My first one was special needs growing up. My middle one, the next one was an off the wall genius. So, talk about comparison, right? And then my youngest one has been my biggest challenge, but he also is the one that's the most gifted. He has the same abilities that I have, and it's been a very big challenge for him to get out of the 3D and start to learn how to trust his soul and elevate himself. So it's wonderful that he has used my book like a Bible. And he tells me all the time how he goes back and he rereads certain things in there. And that's what I tell people to do: use it as you need it. And he'll keep relating things in his life going back to the lessons in the book,
Wow.
so that he's still fairly young. I mean, boys mature a little bit later than girls. He's only 30. But he kept making the same mistakes over and over because he wasn't learning the lesson.
Interesting. So, are you going to train all your kids to be a medium or a psychic because you believe everyone has a gift, right?
They're not interested. They all have abilities. All three of them have a lot of ability, but also, since they're boys, they're a little more standoffish about it. They don't want people to know. And I have one that's in the service, and he certainly doesn't want anybody to know he's got any ability, because that would be held against him in his military position.
Mm.
But it was funny when my mom died, he called me up and he goes, Mom, he goes, I don't believe in anything you do, right? I'm like, okay. He goes, Grandma came to visit me last night. I, I said, I'm sure she did. You were her favorite. He goes, yeah, I woke up. He goes, and she was standing right
Oh my
there
god.
telling me how much she loved me and missed me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we don't believe it. I think it's something in the book. You have a lot of stories and examples of this, right? Even you didn't believe it until you
Yeah.
start seeing angels and souls, and in your room.
When you ask the universe for something and they bring it to you immediately tenfold, then it's not random.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I could tell you story after story of things that the universe has done, and my jaw's on the floor. I'm like, wow. When COVID hit, I was driving a 2015 BMW diesel. And I figured, well, it was 2018. I figured, oh, so it was 2019. It was 2019. So it was already 4 or 5 years old. I'm figuring, okay, I should update the car and get a new one. So I start looking around, and the last year they made it was in 2018. They stopped importing the diesels into the US. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to look for a used one. So I was looking around, and it was 40,000 for a used one with 30,000 miles on it, and they were ugly, black on black, white on white, out of warranty. So I asked the universe, I told them what I was looking for, and I said I would love to find one like I had as a lease before I closed the business. And it was a 2018 silver, it's a metallic blue, dark midnight metallic blue with the saddle tan interior. So within like an hour, I ended up finding the exact car I think that I traded in as a lease in New Hampshire. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. So now I'm thinking about it because it's got mileage on it. You know, it's out of warranty. And then within a couple more hours, I got an email from a dealership in Baltimore, Maryland. I didn't send anything out. And it was brand spanking new on the showroom floor, the same price as a used one, 40,000 with no miles, full warranty, and guess what color? Midnight blue with the saddle interior. Okay, it gets better. So I'm like, oh, my car, this is amazing. So I apply for the loan on the car and I get declined because when I got divorced and went through bankruptcy, I lost everything. So I put it back up to the universe. I said, well, clearly I'm supposed to have this car because you sent it in my email. It is the perfect car. It's exactly what I wanted. Now you're going to have to figure out how I'm going to pay for it because I don't have the money to pay for it.
Okay.
So that week I put enough people on in my program that paid me in cash that I bought the car in cash and had it delivered by the end of the week.
Wow.
And I just started my program.
You know, that's insane. That is crazy, right? And the thing is that, you know, I interview so many people. I heard all of these stories all the time, and people talk about manifestations. It's like,
It's the law of attraction.
yeah,
Law of attraction.
manifestation. You know, how do we manifest something or attract something into our life? Like just like
So again, it has to do with your vibration because we are like magnets. You are always either repelling or attracting into your life at any given time. The whole reason that you attract the partner that you're with is because you're on the same frequency. It's like a radio channel. You can't get it in if you're not on the same frequency, right?
Yeah.
You have to be on the same frequency to magnetize that in. So it's all about your vibration. And the higher your vibration, the more you magnetize in whatever it is you put out to the universe that you want. That's the law of attraction. And there's a trick to it because everybody that teaches the law of attraction, people can do it for a short time and then they can't do it anymore, right?
Yeah.
The trick to law of attraction is you have to learn how to balance your energy. And balancing your energy is not that easy. My program teaches people how to balance their energy. And sometimes it takes people doing the program 2 or 3 times because they're not absorbing everything that I'm teaching them or everything that they're reading. You know, when your energy shifts, I have to pull my students off the ceiling. Okay. But you have to remember for every high, there's a low, right? If you don't know how to balance, you crash. So now that they know that high, they have to balance it so that they don't have the high, they don't have the low, they stay balanced. Their energetic vibration is high but balanced.
Okay.
And that's how you maintain the law of attraction. And that's how you manifest and bring in anything you want in your life.
Okay, my last question is back to relationship and love. You know, can we manifest someone back into our life if that person has already moved on from us?
Absolutely. Again, it has to do with being the magnet.
But what if the person has already learned their lesson and moved on and got into other relationship and we are still trying to manifest them into our life?
If you're supposed to be together, you can magnetize them back into your life. And I've had students that the other person had moved on, they're living with someone else, and they were able to magnetize them back. So keep in mind that thoughts are things, okay? Because that's energy you're putting out. So when you're thinking about someone, they're thinking about you because you're picking it up. So when you start to magnetize someone back in, obviously you're thinking about them. So they're thinking about you. You can't chase, you have to attract. So you absolutely, you can attract people back into your life that you want to have back into your life. Doesn't matter what the situation is. If they're supposed to be with you, they will be with you.
Wow. That is good to know. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for answering all my questions, and you have been very generous and kind with your time today. Before we move on to the final five rapid fire questions I'm going to ask, do you have anything that you really want to share or talk to us about that I perhaps didn't ask you or didn't let you?
So anyone that's looking for help can go to my website. It's
Mhm.
juneedward.com, no S in there, June Edward. Or they can go to fivelovelessons.com if that's easier for them to remember. Both of them will take them to the website.
Okay.
There are links to all of my books on the website. There are videos that they can watch. There's a free webinar on relationships that they can sign up for and they can watch. They can schedule an appointment with me, anything that they want. They can contact me through my email there as well. If somebody's got abilities or questions or don't know where to turn or anything like that, I'm always willing to help. I get lots of questions.
Yeah.
I'm also on social media. I'm on Facebook more often than not. You can follow me there. That's probably what I'm on most of the time, but I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. I also do public speaking if someone needs a speaker.
Okay.
I do that as well. So one of the readings that I do is called the Destiny cards. They're the cards of the Magi, and they are astrology and numerology combined, and they're extremely accurate.
Mm.
Extremely accurate, because your life breaks down into 13-year cycles, 7-year cycles, 7-week cycles, 7-day cycles, and 1-year cycles. We're ruled by 7 planets. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Awesome. So yeah, we always end with our final five rapid fire question. Every question has to be answered in one word or one sentence maximum.
Okay.
The first question is, what is one thing you wish you knew earlier?
One thing I wish I knew earlier. That the other side was real.
Love it. If you could live your life all over again, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't have been so tough on myself.
Beautiful. Love it. What is something you are trying to learn or curious about right now?
I'm still trying to get more information on the other side about how new souls are created and how often, the full process of the reincarnation. Why we were created. Why, what's the whole grand plan?
Yeah, I remember that part in your book. Yeah, you talk about that. You are still, trying to find out the answer. Yeah. But we all believe that. I'm sure you believe that the time will be right when you get the answer. Right, it will be the time for you to know the answer.
Probably when I'm on the other side.
And let me know. Oh no, please no. I would love for you to be back and share this information with us.
I'll teletype it.
Okay, I hope I can be on the other side then. If you have 5 minutes and the whole world is listening to you, what would you say?
Love each other, care about each other, stop hating each other. You're human beings. We're here for each other.
Yeah.
Look each other in the eye. It's really hard to say something mean to somebody or not like them if you're standing face to face and looking the other person in the eye.
Why in the eye?
It really is. Why? That's the doorway to the soul.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Beautiful.
That's the doorway.
That's so
You can
true.
really look into somebody's heart through their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you look into someone's eyes long enough, you will like connect with their soul, right? For some reason.
Kind of. It's funny. When I was a kid, by looking at someone's eyes, I could literally put myself in their entire body.
Wow.
I could feel everything they felt, everything. Yeah, it was really. I could still do it, but I can remember distinctly as a kid doing it all the time. I'd meet somebody and I'd look them in the eye, and I would immediately almost like transform my whole soul into their body, and I could be them. I could feel them. I could know everything. It was really weird.
It is. Yeah. Wow. It's incredible. The last question is, what brings you the greatest joy?
What brings me the greatest joy? Helping someone who is really, really struggling and needs direction, needs an answer.
Mm,
especially if it's from the other side, like connecting with someone that they didn't get closure with or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That brings me the greatest joy. It really does, especially when I can help someone on that side the same as helping someone on this side. Because a lot of times they're suffering on the other side as well if they knew they hurt you and didn't get the closure.
They will suffer on the other side?
They
Really?
will, yeah.
Wow.
If you're so if you someone close to you dies and you're just in grief all the time, they can't move on and enjoy the other side. They're stuck next to you, crying and trying to, get you to not. Because they live vicariously through us on the other side. If you're happy, they're happy. If you're sad, they're sad. If you're enjoying, sit down and enjoying a really good steak, they're going to sit down and enjoy it with you and remember what it tastes like.
Wow.
But if you're stuck and you're sad, they're sad right there with you. So people have to learn to let them go and move on so they can be happy.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I hope you'll find this episode enlightening and you'll receive some of the answers that you have been seeking. Go follow June, go to her website, buy her book, book a session with her, book a reading with her. I will put all the links in the show note below. Make sure you go and check it out and follow her and give her a shout out. Thank her for coming to our show today. If you are not following me, follow me on Instagram at joyan.chan and tell me and June, take a screenshot of this and share it on the IG story and tell us what do you love the most about this episode. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another episode coming every Wednesday. I will always leave you the same way as I leave you every other episode. Show up, the world needs you and you need you. Thanks for listening and I wish you all a joyful and amazing day ahead.
Thank you again for tuning to Find Joy with Joyan podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can help support this podcast in one of three ways. 1. Take a screenshot of this episode and share it on your IG story and tag me at findjoyjoyan_podcast so I can repost and connect with you. 2. Share this podcast with a friend or a family member. And 3. Leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts so we can continue to grow and reach more listeners worldwide. Make sure you also subscribe so you don't miss out on any episode coming Wednesday. Thanks for being here and I will see you soon in the next episode.